Welcome, friends, to our Friday's practice titled Yoga for Stress Reduction, where we learn to mindfully practice yoga so that we can breathe, move, and feel better. So for this month, we are exploring the traditional Chinese medicine kidney energy or organ. And there are three components that integrate with this concept of kidney. First one is posture. Second one is vital energy. And the third one is vagal toning. So we're going to be integrating all three of those in class today. Right? So our energy is reflected in how we stand and how we move. So when our energy is low, you might have a heavy feeling or fatigued feeling in your body. And then when your energy is, say, wired or in that stress response, you're unable to relax, or we're unable to access that sense of stillness and peace in the body. So that's where we're going to come into today's class with, and I'm going to start with the title, Energy Check-In. So let's start there. Welcome to class. I'm going to meet you on the mat. All right, so for today's class, you will need a pillow towards the end of class and that 2-inch block and a strap. So have all the tools around as you come in. Let's start in constructive rest. Okay, now here's the first energy check-in. All right, notice if your energy is neutral. Right, if your energy is fatigued or tired. Or if you feel a little wired. And sometimes we get that combination of wired and tired. Okay, so just kind of label whatever your energy is. And then take a breath into your body. Just mindfully acknowledging what is here now, not needing it to be different. Okay, let's integrate a body movement and a breathing pattern to start to increase our vagal tone. It's a somatic movement by Thomas Hanna. Reach both arms up towards the ceiling. Okay, now turn the palms towards each other and then soften your shoulders down, right? So shoulders are going to move closer to the earth. And then begin softening the elbows out to the side. Right, so I call this one beach ball. And then once you find that arm position, we're going to use an audible exhale as we breathe out. Okay, so let's start together. Breathe in, soft elbows. As you breathe out, hug that beach ball, make it audible. Inhale, soften, return, shoulders, elbows. And repeat that 2 more times. Release that breathing, moving, and then draw the right knee up into your chest. So let this be soothing for your nervous system. All right, so maybe you're wired and you want a little bit of movement, or maybe you're tired and you want a little less movement, or maybe you simply pause in stillness. And just allow whatever you've chosen to be soothing for your body. Okay, that strong core abdominal breathing is one of the quickest ways to access that vagus nerve. So let's return that right foot down onto the earth, and one more time, set your arms up in that beach ball with relaxed shoulders and relaxed elbows. And then when you're ready to breathe and move, take 3 rounds. Sense your deep core connection. And then once you've completed 3, grab a hold of that left knee, find a posture or a movement that is soothing. Right? So sometimes when that energy is low, it's hard to get moving, and yet just a little bit of moving energy will bring us back into balance. Or when we're used to moving a lot, just slowing the movement down will bring you closer to balance. Right? So just notice the energy that's here. Release out of the posture. Last time, let's take 3 rounds of that beach ball breathing. Notice where you feel it in your body. Right? Move in a gentle way so you're sending messages back to your brain that everything is okay. And then once you finish, release down, grab a hold of the strap. We're going to have a little bit of hamstring focus. All right, so let's start on the right leg. All right, so as you ease your body into lengthening your hamstrings, let your both hands be on the strap and relax your elbows down. When the hamstrings are tight, they pull the pelvis out of a neutral position, and then that affects our posture, right? So we want our hamstrings to be supple so we can stand and move better. Okay, so we're going to come back to this hamstring stretch after we stretch the outer hamstrings. So take take the strap in your left hand, turn your toes towards the left, right? So turn your toes towards the left, and then start to draw your left foot over the midline. Okay, and as you start to drop that left foot over the midline, hug your left knee towards the midline. Okay, so the legs are going to feel a little bit like a crisscross here. Okay, so tune in. If the sensation is strong, maybe you back off of it a little bit. So we're not trying to overwhelm or the nervous system or start a stress response. All right, simply become aware of the sensation. And then turn your focus to your breathing. And just allow the breathing to be light and smooth. And then ease the leg back into the center, right? So let your foot come back into neutral. Maybe hold the strap with both hands again. And take a couple of breaths here. Right, so when the energy is low, it's nice to meet your energy where it's at, and then gently coax into a little bit of movement. Then let's release off of this posture. Let the foot come down to the earth. Drop all of your attention to the space between your navel and your pubic bone. And we're going to have that zip up breath as if we were trying to zip into a tight pair of jeans. Okay, let's begin. Take a breath in. Maybe you do that audible exhale as you start to lift from your pelvic floor and tone your abdominals in. Squeeze into those jeans. Pause there for a moment. Inhale, soften. Okay, 2 more rounds of that zip up. And then release all of that tension, and let's find the hamstring on the left. Allow yourself to have the comforting or a comfort in the hamstring. So no need to press and find that end place where you're overstretching. Right? Find a place that's manageable. Right? Notice where the sensation is. Okay, now we're going to shift the sensation to the outer hamstring. So take the strap in the right hand, turn your toes over to the right, and then start to take your foot in that direction. Okay, go slow. And then start to drop your right knee towards the midline. So it's a little bit like a almost like you were going to stack your legs. But again, pay attention what's happening in the pelvis, not trying to overdo. Right, maybe you give your both legs a gentle squeeze towards each other, right? So notice what muscles activate when you lightly squeeze your legs together. Okay, now let's release that stretch, come back to the center. Soften your legs. Let the leg come back into neutral, find a comfortable place with the strap. Okay, notice where your mind goes when we're lengthening through those hamstrings. Right? The brain usually has a pretty good story about the hamstrings, so just notice if you've drifted into a story. Allow yourself to come back to the present. Feel yourself breathe. 2 more rounds. When you've completed, release off of this hamstring stretch, and then once again, return to that zip up breathing practice and take 2 rounds. Feel yourself breathe. And then once you're completed, relax all of your muscles. Just pause here for a moment. All right, so bringing balance to your energy. Grab a hold of that 2-inch block or a folded blanket, and then slide that prop underneath the pelvis. And once you've set up the prop, then turn your focus into your mind. I just notice the energy in the mind. Maybe it's neutral, maybe it's busy, maybe it's dull. And so simply become aware of whatever the energy is in the mind. And then let's begin shifting into a bridge pose. So begin pressing in through your feet and lifting up into a bridge pose. Right, sense the bottoms of your feet, maybe your knees or your pelvis. Right, you might notice that when you lift with gravity, the abdominal area starts to hollow out a little bit. Right, so anytime that we can put a little light pressure on the organs, it starts to communicate with that vagus nerve. Okay, now let's ease the pelvis down, so touch back down on the block. Pause here, release all the tension, and take a breath. Okay, so now we're going to engage the mind and focus the mind. Lift the body barely over the block, right? So you're going to lift your pelvis just hovering over the block. Okay, and then just notice, does this posture take more energy or less energy for you? Right, I find this place asks me to engage my legs a little more than when I lift up into the higher pose. Right, but we're all different. Just notice what it is for you. Okay, lower the pelvis down, relax all of the muscles, and take a breath. Pause. Okay, now choose whether you have a higher lifted bridge or a lower lifted bridge, but just allow that bridge to reflect the energy that you have available. Right, so being able to choose a posture is that regulated nervous system response. Right, so we're not reacting, we're responding and able to make a choice. Okay, now once you've made a choice, let's drop into sensing the body. So maybe sense where the weight is in your feet. Maybe you can find a more neutral place in the feet. Notice the sensation in your legs and your buttock. Right, notice how the abdomen scoops out just a little bit. And then maybe you notice how the breath is simply taking care of itself. Okay, wherever you are, as you're lifted, grab a hold of the block, slide it out from below the pelvis, and then lower your pelvis down. And keep that block nearby as you sway your knees lightly from side to side. Right, so maybe you place your feet together, or maybe you have your legs apart. Just allow your knees to sway a little bit from side to side. It's the comfortable, moving energy. Okay, let your knees come back into the center. Let your feet be in neutral or hips width apart. And now we're going to have a little bit of movement for posture support. So grab a hold of the block between both hands and then press the block up towards the ceiling. I just notice as you reach towards the ceiling, your abdominal muscles will start to activate. Keeping those abdominal muscles lightly on board, let your shoulders relax down onto the mat. Okay, now for this posture support, pay attention to your ribs. If your body moves into a back arch, you've gone a little bit too far because we want to keep those ribs grounded on the earth or in the position that they're in right here. Okay, so just notice the position. Allow yourself to breathe naturally. With straight arms, start to reach the block overhead. Okay, paying attention to the rib cage. Just remembering if you pop into that back arch, back off a little bit. And then once you find your range, you don't have to go all the way down to the floor. Take a full breathing cycle. All right, so feel yourself breathe in. Take a complete exhale and hug your belly in. When you're ready to breathe in, release your arms, draw your right knee into your chest, and use the block in front of your shin to pull the knee in towards your body. All right, so shoulders are relaxed, face is relaxed. If you want to have a little bit of movement, you can do that. Okay, let's set up for the other side. Let that right leg come down. Once again, reach your arms towards the ceiling. And as you do, start to notice that, that core connection. Relax your shoulders down. Keep your elbows lengthened. Breathe naturally as you explore the reach over your head. Right, paying attention to your rib cage. Right, so you're strengthening through your core here to help support posture. Okay, once you've found where you're not overdoing in your comfortable place, we're going to pause there for conscious breathing. Breathe in. Exhale, hug that belly in. Inhale, release your arms, draw your left knee into your chest, place the block over the shin. Or if you don't have the block, you just simply interlace your hands and pull your knee into your body. All right, so face is relaxed, shoulders are down. All right, go into your body and notice where you feel the sensation. Release out of the stretch, release the block, and then make your way into that all fours shape. Take a few rounds of cat and cow. Let's use that audible ha sound on the exhale to start to firm the abdominals. Toning on the vagus nerve. And then release the movement and ease the body back into a comfortable child's pose. All right, so check in with your energy. Notice the sensation in the body. Notice the thoughts in your mind. Right, so our energy gets drained when we're unaware of what's running in the background, right? Whether it's body tension or mental tension, that will drain our energy. So if we simply use that mindfulness tool to become aware of what is here now in our mind and body, we give ourselves an energy resource by simply not draining our energy. Okay, so let's release out of this place. Grab a hold of a couple of blocks, right? Or maybe you use a chair or an ottoman. We're going to have a leg stretch. Step the right leg forward. And let's start in a low lunge, right? So maybe shift the left knee back a little bit. Okay, start to ease the body forward and down. Right, so you might have that heavy feeling as the body shifts forward. And then if you want to add that light feeling or that energized feeling, you'll turn the toe under in the back and lift the knee up off of the mat. Right, so choose where your energy level is and just allow the shape to match your energy. Remembering not to overdo or maybe you need to encourage yourself to do. You know yourself the best. Breathe. Okay, if you're lifted, lower that back knee and then ease the body into a hamstring stretch as you shift the pelvis backward. Right, and maybe you move around a little bit here. Right, just matching your energy. Right, maybe it's just a gentle swaying. Or maybe you prefer stillness. Feel yourself breathe. Slowly ease off of this shape. Come back through all fours. And then drop into a couple of rounds of cat and cow. If you like that audible exhale to connect deeper to your core, maybe you do that. Release that movement. Step your left leg forward. And then when you're ready, ease your body into that low lunge shape. And then maybe you lift the back leg, maybe you don't, just tune into your energy. When we allow the movement and postures to be manageable, it sends the message back to the brain, everything's okay. All right, we've been patterned to push and strive, and then it just creates its own little stress loop between the body and the brain. Okay, if you're lifted, lower the knees. Ease the pelvis back. All right, maybe you wiggle around a little bit here if that feels good. Sense the hamstrings lengthening. Let's release off of the shape. Take your time, and then we'll move to standing. All right, so the way we stand and the way we move reflects our energy. So just allow yourself to feel comfortable and harmonious as we come through this. So let the feet be a little bit outside of the hips. Put a little bend in the knees. And I like to call this an arm sweep. So you're going to take your left hand, sweep the space in front of you as you shift your weight. Okay, now push off of that right leg and then sweep that right arm. Okay, push off that left leg and sweep. All right, so it's a push and then a clear. All right, clearing that space in front of you. All right, so moving in a balanced way. All right, just notice how your breath finds itself. Okay, the next time you push over towards the right, start to reach the left arm over the midline. Right, so just reaching that arm. So here's a side bend. Right, so feel it down the rib cage on the left and the lower back. Right, allow the stretch to feel good. And then let's release off of that reach. And then once again, just shift and sweep your body from side to side. Right, maybe the movements are slow. Maybe they're quick. Just allow that swaying movement to soothe you. And I like to think about maybe running my hands over the top of water, or maybe dusting over sand. Okay, the next time you shift over to the left, start to reach your, excuse me, shift over to your left, start to reach your right arm across the midline. Okay, as you reach, sense the space around the ribs and the low back lengthening, opening. So this again is creating some space for standing better and moving better. Okay, now let's release off of this side stretch. Bend the knees and find those beach ball arms. Okay, let's have that beach ball breathing 3 rounds. Inhale, soften and open. Exhale, hug in, maybe bend in. So there's a little bounce to it up and down. Float it up. Hug it down. Release that movement. Allow your legs to come together and stand steady in mountain. Okay, as we're standing in this posture, start to pay attention to your low ribs. Right, so if you feel yourself popping the rib cage up, see if you can kind of focus as dropping those lower ribs down. A little soft knees, so we're moving towards our neutral. Okay, so once you found your steady stance, step your right leg into warrior one. Okay, keep the rib cage in neutral as you reach palms forward, upward. Okay, and they may not go all the way to the top, that's okay. And then drop your elbows into that goal post along the side. Okay, concentrate on your rib cage. All right, so feel the tall posture, head, shoulders, pelvis aligning. Send your palms behind you as you lean forward, right? So palms push back in that airplane-like posture, right? So push through that front leg, feel the muscles of that left leg engage. Right, so maybe you explore sending the pelvis backward as you press firmly through that front leg so it starts to move into a pyramid shape. All right, so this is strengthening your back muscles, strengthening your core muscles, strengthening your hamstrings. All right, so think supporting your posture. Take a breath in and take a breath out. ease off of this shape. Turn the body long ways. Put a little bend in the knees. And then let's circle sweep the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, take the palms through the center down towards the earth. Okay, you get to decide how low you want to go. Okay, breathe and move in a meditative way. All right, so notice, is it hard to slow down? Is slow more accessible for you? All right, so with mindfulness, there's no judgment. We just simply become aware of what patterns we spend a lot of time in. Okay, one more. And then return to steady mountain. Okay, once again, finding your posture, pay attention to where your ribs are. So if they're flared, draw them down. And then just put a little soft bend in the knees. Right, sense your posture. Ears over shoulders. Okay, let's take this tall posture into warrior one. Step the left leg back. Energize your legs. Palms forward, reach your arms up. Okay, pay attention to your rib cage. Go to where it's comfortable. And then drop your elbows down into goalpost arms. All right, feel yourself breathe. Sense your long spine, and then we're going to take that long spine into folding forward. Press your arms behind you. Lean forward, long spine, start to press through that front leg, activate those muscles. And then let's add that hamstring stretch by sending the pelvis backward, moving into that pyramid shape. Sense the muscles in your back working, the muscles of your core working, and the muscles in your legs. If it feels like it's too much energy that you're spending here, that's okay. You come off of it until you feel manageable. All right, so there's no need to press to overwhelm. Okay, let's ease off of the shape. Soften the front knee, step forward, step a little wide. Okay, here's that calming movement. Circle around through the center. And enjoy the flow of energy. Right, maybe to keep yourself focused and centered, you sense the air on your palms. Right, maybe the temperature of your hands. Release the movement, draw your body into mountain pose. And then once again, come into goalpost arms. Put a little soft bend in both of your knees. So sense the tall posture and begin lifting up the heel on the left. Right? So peel the heel, engage your core, and then float that left toe upward. You might notice if you're holding your breath. Release out of the posture, step a little bit wide, and then once again, just sweep the space lightly in front of you. Relax your shoulders, relax your face. Right, so soothing the nervous system with a sway. Right, when we start to balance, especially as we age, it can become quite serious. So bring yourself back into exploring, curious. Okay, come back to the center, Tadasana, goal post. Okay, ground down, put a little bend in the knees. Lift the heel on the right. Okay, float the toe out of the water and lift. All right, sense your core supporting your balance. Okay, once again, let's ease out of this shape. Let your legs step wide, and once again, just sweep the space. Relax your face. Okay, let's release the movement. Come straight down onto the mat. All right, so make sure you have a pillow nearby and that 2-inch block. Okay, so before we get there, let your whole body come down to the mat. Pause here for a moment and take a breath. And then ease your knees down to a side for a twist. So keep adjusting so that you're comfortable. Again, sending messages from the body to the brain that everything is okay. So not trying to force into a shape. And then take a couple of breaths. Check in with your energy. Okay, ease the twist to the other side. And then maybe you notice you have one side that's a little more comfortable than the other. So we hold tension or tension energy uniquely in our bodies. And when we practice mindfully, we simply become aware of our tension patterns, and then make a choice to care for it. Okay, come back into neutral. And this is, we're going to set up for a, a fish pose supported. So you'll have a pillow or a blanket folded, and you'll have the 2-inch block for your head. So I would say the key to this is allowing your shoulders and your arms to be in the space between the block and the pillow. All right, so pillows at the low ribs, and you lay your body over. All right, some of you may not even need the head support, although for me, I definitely do to support my neck. So give yourself a moment, because you're opening through that torso area, where those kidney meridians are in the belly. And then begin to slide the legs out. And then if this posture does not feel comfortable, just simply come to that classic Shavasana and rest there. Okay, so once you found a posture that you can drop into, let's open and close the jaw for the count of 6. Soften your face. With your head in neutral, slide your eyes over to the right. Right, if you notice any changes, just allow them to come. Let your eyes come back to the center. And then slide your eyes over to the left for that basic exercise. Stanley Rosenberger. Just notice what comes. Return your eyes back to the center and swallow. All right, check in with your energy. Maybe you're ready to move out of this posture, or maybe you're ready to just linger in it for another moment or two. Okay, wherever you are, let's join together by rolling to your side body. Right, just pause in that fetal pose for a moment. And then check in with your energy of how you feel now. And if you're ready to come to a tall seat, to close class with 3 chants of Om, join me there. This beautiful practice of yoga that allows us to use our body to still our mind. Prepare. Om. 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 The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.